numbers scrolling on the top. Hello, guys. How are you? Prince Charming's mom. I always feel like Patrick. When we were kids, and there was that. I always joke around that there's this the magic mirror that you look at, and you're like, "Hi, Wayne. Hi, Joe. Hi, Prince Charming's mom." But that's what I feel. So, we'll wait for everybody to kind of get in here. And how is everybody? How is everybody doing? Seascape, hello. And Mountain Seeker. So here's what we're going to do tonight, okay? And Patrick and I were talking about how are we going to do this. And so if you have a question that can, hi, Mimi. If you have a question for me, okay, as far as readings, then what I would like you to do is do the QQQQ or make it stand out with emojis or whatever you got to do. And then Patrick, you needed date of birth.
And I do need a good time, actually.
Okay.
So I need a time, date of birth, time, and the city. And these are going to be not even mini readings, but just micro readings. So we're just going to see what area the eclipses are going to be hitting you.
Yeah.
And keep it simple. I mean, I've never done these on the fly before, so I don't want to overpromise.
Yeah, so we're going to have fun with this. And I wanted you guys, hi Blue Rose, hi Mimi. I really wanted to introduce Patrick because he just did a reading for me a little bit ago, and it was so profound because he didn't know me at all. And one of the major things that stuck out to me was he was like, yeah, the last 2 years have been really, really intense or really hard. And it was like, boy, you got that right. So it was really nice. So date of birth and time. And there was one more thing, wasn't it? The city that you were born in.
Yeah, so, city and state, or country, yeah.
So you can put that in, and then we'll star it. And then what we can do is, if you don't have a specific question for me, so while I'm doing the reading, he'll look that up and give you a very mini, and I'm going to start starring them. So I'm going to ask you guys to don't worry about my computer bouncing up and down. Unfortunately, the little one, the little puppy is underneath me and has decided to keep bouncing up and down and playing. So just ignore him. So date of birth, city, and then what time you were born, we'll star it. And then, So while we're waiting for those, I'm going to get right there because the dog is starting to chew on some rocks that I have down here. But Patrick, when did you first get into astrology? Like, what got you into astrology?
Okay. I haven't been into astrology super long. I've been into things of this ilk for over 3 decades. As far as meditation and just all kinds of different spiritualities and psychological things. And astrology was fairly late. And actually, I just started listening to podcasts. And actually, I wasn't even looking for astrology. I got really into near-death experience shows, and there's quite a few out there.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was just kind of at a little bit of a low point in my late 40s and thinking about death. My health hadn't been great.
Yeah.
And I guess these shows gave me some comfort. And then there was one guy who was mostly an astrology show, but he did do some NDE stuff as well. And I just totally got hooked. And one thing led to another, and now I'm totally obsessed by it. And I'm giving readings, and I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And I, although I haven't been doing astrology for, decades, I've been doing a lot of things related. I remember when I was 19. I don't know. Did you ever see that James? What was it? The Power of Myth series with Bill Moyers.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it was a great series in the late '80s, and it was all about myth and Jungian psychology and stuff like that. And so, that's sort of the I would call myself an archetypal astrologer. It's kind of hard to define what that is. It's more based on myths. I kind of differentiate. There's an astrology out there. It's kind of like keyword astrology. So you have Scorpio and you have a list of traits. And you kind of as you learn astrology, you have to learn that list. But once I started getting into the myths behind each sign and planet, it really starts to come alive. Because you're not a list of adjectives. You're much more than that. And I think the myths and the images, are one thing that I really try to keep alive when I'm looking at a chart and doing a reading.
Very, very cool. Okay, so I think everybody that I have, I'll tell you who I got so far. And we'll try to get to as many as possible. And like I said, excuse the puppy because now he's decided he wants to play. So Seascape, Spirit Watcher, Blue Rose, Mimi, Spirit Watcher, I got you twice, girlfriend. So let me get you off of the second one. We've got Bonnie, we got Blue Rose, we got Jen T. Hey, Jen T, are you still in Massachusetts? Suzanne, we've got you. And I know what is so big about, I know this eclipse is coming up, but
right.
I don't know anything about astrology. So it's just really in awe to me. So can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, I'll try to sell the eclipse and explain why it's really big. First of all, we've been having eclipses in Scorpio, Taurus for about a year. So this is our fifth one. I think last November we only had one, and then so November of 2021. Then in May we had two. We just had one about 10 days ago, and now we've got one coming up. And we've got at least another couple next year. And everyone knows Scorpio as being an intense sign, and so let me explain. Basically the way the nodes work is they're a mathematical point that go around the zodiac counterclockwise, and so every year and a half, we'll have a whole set of eclipses in two opposing signs. So right now we're in the Scorpio-Taurus eclipse season. And then that'll shift over. And then next year we'll start the Mars-Libra season. And then that goes around and around. And it's 18.6 year cycle. So one thing you can do is you can think back, if you're having an intense time, say from last November, last May, or this month, you can think back to what was going on about 19, 20 years ago, and see if there are similar themes. I usually try that trick. You can do it with Jupiter because it's got a 12-year cycle. The nodes are 18.5 years, and Saturn is 29, and it's real interesting to try that. Like, for instance, I recently picked up playing guitar again, but I had put it down for several years, and there were only 2 times in my life that I put it down, I've been playing since I was 11, and I've been in quite a few bands. And so I look back 29 years, and sure enough, Saturn, which is the planet of restriction, was in my fifth house of self-expression. So it was in that house. I put the guitar down in my early 20s, right when Saturn was going through that house.
Wow.
And then in my late 40s, early 50s, Saturn came through the house, and I put down the guitar again for a few years. I mean, it's just, I never cease to be amazed at the accuracy. That's why when you say, oh, it was so amazing, I could see you had a really hard 2 years. I mean, it just screamed out,
Yeah. And some of these guys in the room have been with me for that long. And so they kind of know, they've kind of witnessed and saw the moves and the stress and everything like that, because this community has always been really good. It's a really healing community, very supportive community. But it's been kind of rough. So I'm glad to know that it's all changing soon. So.
Yeah, well, actually, you're going through a Pluto transit, and you got a very intense.
Sorry, guys.
You got a very intense Pluto opposition to your sun, and then you have Pluto transiting that, and that is germane to what we're talking about, because I consider Pluto to be the ruler of Scorpio. So I do want to say, I'll talk about Scorpio for a few minutes, and
please do.
Feel like if you're into astrology, then you will know about this sort of debate between the traditional astrologers. Scorpio is ruled by Mars traditionally, and then the modern astrologers feel like it's ruled by either ruled by Pluto or co-ruled by both planets. Where I'm coming from is that Pluto is the main ruler of Scorpio, and I say that because the significations of Scorpio and Pluto are exactly the same. And when I say significations, I just mean it's a fancy word for saying, if you have a list of things that describe Scorpio and a list of things that describe Pluto, they're really pretty much exactly the same. Sex, death, power, hidden things. I could go on, but that covers a lot. And I also equate the 8th house with Scorpio, and that's again a little. People debate about that a little bit. There's basically you can see the signs from going from Aries to Pisces as sort of a life path.
Mm-hmm.
Where Aries you're a little baby, and then Pisces is the end of the journey. I don't think it's really that simple, but they describe themes that we go through in our lives, and you can equate that with the 12 houses as life paths. So in other words, Aries has a lot to do with the first house, Taurus has a lot to do with the second house, and so on. And so Scorpio has to do with the 8th house, which again, 8th house is sex, death, the occult. So divination, stuff like that. Occult meaning just hidden things. Like I said, Scorpio kind of gets a bad rap, and I think those of us with Scorpio traits maybe keep it on the down low. I was doing a reading for someone, and she had Scorpio really powerful in her chart, and what I mean by that is either she had strong Pluto aspects, or a bunch of stuff in the 8th house, or planets in Scorpio. So she had all three, which I do as well. And so I was thinking about her, man. She should be really Scorpionic, but she doesn't come across that way, And I realized, when I was thinking about doing this talk, it's like, holy shit, I'm really Scorpionic too. As far as my chart goes, I've got a ton of stuff aspecting Pluto. Pluto. I've got my IC is in Scorpio, conjunct to Neptune, and I've got Chiron and Aries in the 8th house, and I've got my North Node's in the 8th house, and Pluto's in my 1st house. So whenever you have a Pluto and planet in the 1st house, that's going to really be strong, in your personality. So,
yeah, and I think you were saying for me it was like Pisces, Cancer, or something like that. Was that?
Well, you get a lot of Pisces, and you have very strong Cancer, and your moon is almost exactly on your ascendant. So it wasn't that surprising to me as far as what you do.
Yeah.
Actually, your moon is in the 12th house, so the 12th house is also related to the occult or hidden things. So you've got the moon in the 12th house, you've got your ascendant is in Cancer, and your moon is in Cancer, and your sun's in Pisces, Mercury's in Pisces. So yeah, very, very strong. I mean, as far as what you do, it's right there in your chart.
Wow. Okay. Someone is asking for some. How do we send? So I'm going to put up. Okay. So Prince Charming, once he gets to a space where I can actually show you what the puppy looks like by now, but right now he's just acting like a fool. So I will try to let you see Gus. I want to put up the banner for Patrick, and then I know that some of you guys are really good about helping me out and tagging that into the chat for me, because I suck at that. So if someone could please make sure that you're tagging his email so that other people have a chance to reach out to him. Like I said, I was thoroughly impressed with a lot of the things that come up, and I would highly, highly recommend using him. So there is his contact information. I think, Jen, you wanted this information. So there's all of my PayPal and Cash App and all of that. Let me see if I can get Gus up here. Gus. So there's that. He's not going to come. He's being a turkey now. So there's that. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start these little mini readings.
Already? Okay.
So, and guys, bear with me for just a little while so I can kind of explain, because the only way I can explain this to Patrick is if we're actually live. So Patrick, if you look on the one side where all the comments are, it'll say live, and it should say starred. Do you see that on your, do you have a starred section?
Oh, let me go to starred. Okay.
So if you go to starred, you will have everybody's info right there. And so a couple of more things. Yes, the two puppies, Atticus and Gus. A couple of more things that I want to do before we get started is keep those prayers coming for Joe. He's with us tonight and he's watching, so just keep those prayers for him. We're doing the best we can there. But yes. Let's see. Hey, been forever since I've caught a live, but the word astrology summoned me. Oh, yay, Empress. So, okay. So now we've got these starred, and we're going to go with Seascape. And then Seascape. Is there anything, I'm going to leave you up here, and he's going to tag all that. And if you're still here, is there anything that you want to know from your guides, or is there anything that's really kind of standing out to you that you might want to ask about? Because they really want to talk about like what is going on with the it's really weird because my guides always ask me things and questions. So it's like, instead of saying we're going to talk about work, or we're going to talk about this. They always say, what's up with work? What's up with this finance and this work and this money change? So do you want to go there, Seascape, or and then of course the phone is always quicker than the chat. So are you here, Seascape? Going once. Oh, maybe I should scroll down to the bottom, huh? I did end up giving a couple of wrenches out. So if you saw your Seascapes here. I did end up giving a couple of wrenches out. So if you're blue, that's why. That's why you're blue, is because you've got wrenches. So what is going on with work? Because it looks like it's really odd, Seascape. So when I say work, I'm saying anything that brings money into your house, your home, your this. And it's really odd because I've never seen them do this, but it's almost like they're clearing it. They're washing a window. And to me, that just looks like clear vision. I'm going to do this so you can see these two knuckleheads, guys. Excuse me. That is what they're doing constantly. There's the puppy. He's as big as the other one. And that's all they do. Besides being there, Prince Charming, you got to see it. So yeah, Seascape, what's up with that? Work, it seems I cannot get creative or show I can move away from employers. Okay, so I really think that that's what it's going to be. There's something that's going to be about some clear vision. There's going to be something because they just keep wiping this window, and the window is all foggy. It looks old. It looks like I can't see through it. But then you're wiping it and you're cleaning and you're going to see it. So what I would invite you to do is manifest things. Like if you don't know what's going on right now, I would manifest things of what you want it to look like in the future. So, and what I mean by that is it's going to look better. It's going to, I'm going to see more finances. I'm going to be more creative. I'm going to just imagine how it would feel when you have all of those things that you want to do. Okay. Because I really feel like that's what needs to happen. Are you ready for her?
Not quite. But I was. And then
it's all right.
I accidentally erased it. Because I'm not used to doing this on the fly. I will tell you this, though, that these eclipses are falling into your 4th and 10th house. So 10th house is your career. And so actually Uranus has been in that house for a good while now. And Uranus is going to stir things up and, produce some change. Or actually, it's with Uranus in your 10th house, it's likely that you're going to want some change, and this eclipse is like right on that Uranus point. So that I hadn't gotten to that in my intro. That's okay, but that's why this eclipse. One of the reasons why this eclipse is so powerful. Because
please tell us.
And an eclipse in itself can produce sudden change, and then there it is, and then. And Uranus can do that as well. So when you've got both coming together, you're. I hope you're going to see something. I just want to get the timing here.
That is true, Blue Rose. I mean, that's what's really great about handing out a lot of wrenches is people don't really come in and mess with you too much because you have so many wrenches. So she was saying that, they're all blue. There's a lot of blue.
Yeah, as far as relationships go, marriage, I mean, do things feel a little bit stuck in that place?
Say that one more time. I didn't hear you. Yeah. What were you saying?
Well, Well, the other thing going on is we have a Saturn-Uranus square. I see Saturn is in her 7th house of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you have a square, there's like a tension. There may be some tension between the relationship area of life and the career area of life. Where the 7th house of relationship feels like it's needing a lot of work right now. And the 10th house is wanting some change, and there's like tension between the career and the relationship stuff going on.
So when does that part, is there a way to figure out like when's a rough estimate when that might see some movement?
Well, let's see. Basically with the square, we've been having the square for about a year and a half now. So, all of you out there, you may have had one area of your life where you felt like things required a lot of work, but you weren't getting a lot back. And then you had another area where you're wanting things to shift, but they're happening a little slow. And that's, that was the energy of this Saturn-Uranus square. And we've been feeling that since early 2021. And I'd say about December, that's going to start easing up. So finally, Saturn's going to start moving into Pisces, and definitely by early next year. That, where we're wanting the freedom, I think it's going to come a lot easier because we won't be having that tension between that other area of life that feels stuck, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Seascape said it's been going on for about 20 years.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, we're gonna go to the next one.
I don't have a time for Spirit Watcher, so I can't.
Yeah, in Spirit Watcher, there was a reason why she had it on 2, and it was 5:32 in the morning. That's what time it was.
Oh, she told you.
Yeah, so that's why if you scroll down to the very, very bottom of the starred, it says 5:32. That's the reason why she had it twice, because the first time she forgot the time. So 5:32 in the morning. And we're going to go up here. And you know what? Since you're doing it there, I don't really need to put it. I don't think I really need to put it up. We can follow through, you can kind of, well, I guess I could. Let me delete this one. No, I don't think I can delete. Okay, we're gonna have to do it this way. So there we go. Everybody's comparing you to William Neeson.
Who's that?
He's an actor. He's a really good actor. Leave it to.
I have Frederickson trailer. Let's see, Frederickson, Newfoundland, and Labrador. Is that correct?
Yeah.
I have a couple of choices. Or no, Frederickson Junction, New Brunswick. There we go. Right, okay. NB, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So we have Canada in the house. We have Scotland in the house. Let's see. I don't know where some of, I always forget where everybody's. New Brunswick. So New Brunswick.
Okay. So we said 5:32 in the morning for her. Okay.
Yes, 5:32 in the morning, New Brunswick.
February 13th. Oh, wait up.
Okay, so while he's doing that, Spirit Watcher, the thing that I have for you is to just continue. It really is about continue on your path. Imagine if you're here's what they're showing me is like you're walking down this path, okay? And I'm watching people that are trying to get me off my path. She's in, and kind of like talk me off of my path. And you just need to whatever your truth is, stay true to your truth, if that makes any sense to you. That's really important. Just stay true to your truth. And there's something about your healing. Mainly what I'm talking about is the healing thing that you're going into, your belief system in your healing. Does that make sense to you, Spirit Watcher? Oh, she said exactly. But please, okay, I won't, Blue Rose. I won't do that. So, in fact, I'll do this, take this off. So, there really is about just staying true. If, like, I always say, if we all have to get to, let's say we all need to go to Scotland. I'm just going to say Scotland. I usually say California, but Scotland, we're going to give Ian some love over there. If we all have to get over there, everybody's going to do it different. Is it Scotland? I don't know. I'm so forgetful. Anyways, we're all going to go over there. Some of us are going to ride boats. Some of us are do planes. Some of us are going to swim, whatever our truth is. And that's where we're going to keep going. So that's what they basically say, is just make sure that you're speaking your truth and doing it the way you need to do. As long as it's not hurting anybody, then, just keep doing you. Okay. So let's see what she said. I saw exactly. So yeah, New Brunswick. Oh, she just said exactly. Okay, I'm done.
What does Spirit Watcher do? Is she a reader?
I don't know. Spirit Watcher, what do you do? What is the healing thing that what is the thing that you do because I really am seeing your spiritual path and you just sticking with your spiritual path. So what is it that you do, Spirit Watcher? Oh, she sees the future.
Oh, so, I'm not surprised. Yeah. So she has Neptune in Scorpio, right on her MC, which is her career line. And that can also indicate mom. So maybe your mom was a bit mystical. And so this eclipse is happening like right on that Neptune, like right on it. And so we'll really be, so Scorpio will have Mercury in there, in Scorpio, and Venus and the Sun. And then in your fourth house, that's where Uranus is going to be. So there could be some shaking up in your fourth house. And then, I see you're having a Saturn return as well. So I wonder how that's been going. So Saturn's in your second house of resources. Yeah, so.
There you go. Very cool.
But I would say there's a hell of a lot of energy coming right on your career line there, where your Neptune is. So that's, that, and you may have stuff come up for you. And the thing with Scorpio is I didn't get to too, and I guess we'll tease out some of these Scorpio things as we go. Scorpio can be the place where we put stuff that we didn't want to look at, or we couldn't look at when we were a child. So that's why this eclipse is so big, because Scorpio is the place where we put the stuff that we don't want to look at. It's like that that drawer in your kitchen that you have, the junk drawer.
Junk drawer.
Where you put all the stuff and you open the drawer and it's like you can't find what you need, and you think, I got to take care of this junk drawer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like overwhelming, and you just close it, but then you can't get it open, or sometimes you get it open but you can't close it. So that's kind of the eighth house, and so I think these eclipses. Let me give you an example. The first eclipse that happened on November of last year, I just got hit with what I would call it is like an activation of my core wound, you know, of like abandonment and like not being seen, not being understood. And I had not felt that in quite a few years. You know, it was something that I had struggled with as I was younger, and I really hadn't felt it at that level.
Yeah.
And so this kind of similar to what was Spirit Watcher.
Spirit
Uh,
Watcher.
it that eclipse happened right on that line for me. Actually, the same line. It was on the on my IC. But of course, if something's hitting your MC, it's also hitting your IC. If you get my meaning. So your MC is your career stuff, and then your IC, which is in Taurus, is about deep family or ancestral stuff.
Well, and she states right here, inner child healing is ongoing, and she's feeling childhood emotions not being expressed, which really makes a lot of sense, because I think there's a lot of us that are going through that we're healing that inner child stuff, that pain, those things.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a big part of what this Scorpio cycle is about, and some of these eclipses will hit people really hard, and then some of them won't. You know, like that one back in November hit me super hard. The one 10 days ago, I actually had a good week. You know, but I had you know, and it made sense with the planets. You know, I had a nice Venus, Jupiter. We're both aspecting my sun. Now I've got the South Node in my third house, which is about communication. So what am I doing now? I'm doing my first ever video. You know, I don't know how well it's going, but that was a really good eclipse for me.
Yeah.
And the North Node is in the ninth house, which is I would relate it to astrology. So that's what I'm talking about. So some of these eclipses can really not be painful and really spark something ongoing. But others of them are going to be like what we talked about.
Yeah.
Just kind of depends how it hits your chart.
Okay.
That's why I don't like to do those. Like people put out, oh, this eclipse is going to be like this and it's going to be like that, and I don't like to do that because it's so individual.
Yeah. Yeah. I would.
Or
see
if I do it, I like to just have people be clear. You might not feel anything, and all more power to you. Just skate on by.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be real nice. Okay, so the next one is Blue Rose.
Okay, 8864.
And so Blue Rose doesn't want it up there, I believe, so I'm not going to put it up. So Blue Rose, are you still there? Because I really need you to tell me if this is, because I'm looking at, when I look down, it's because I'm looking at my phone because this phone, the chat goes faster on the phone than it does on my screen. So that's why I'm looking. So Blue Rose, oh, thank you, Jen. Blue Rose, there's something that, I've been trying to connect with you just to kind of see where you're at. Okay, you're here. Good. So you need to tell me, like I was struggling when Patrick was talking a minute ago, because I'm really drawn to your esophagus. I'm really drawn to the stomach area. I'm really drawn to all of this, from the throat all the way down. Is that something that is causing you some issues or some problems? Because I was trying to usually, I have different spaces, if you guys know me that have been with me for a while. So I cut my vision into pie shapes, and my spirit guides can only be here, and this can only be here, and that can only be here. And then my medical is here. So immediately I turned and I started facing this way, and I can't get past the stomach and the throat issue. So can you answer and tell me if you're going through something like that? Is that possible? You know, so hi, Chris MK. Um, yeah, so I'm just going to keep going. And so, because they're just saying yes. This is, I keep hearing a brat diet. Okay. So something really mild, something really, if you're having these throat, stomach issues, something that's really kind of calm, that's what I would, either my chakras or I'm trying to stop cigarettes, worried about my folks. Okay. So, let's just say this. If I'm not going to say no, because there is a lot, and what they're showing me is I'm really kind of curious to see what Patrick is going to say about this, because what they're showing me is, you really needing some grounding in this space. And if it is your chakras, then I would say yes, definitely work on those. Anybody can send pink healing light to themselves. But I still get this kind of feeling that I may need to just be really cautious about all of this area. Where's my entertainment for purposes only posts that you guys do for me? But yeah, I have a couple that will actually post that for a while. And those of you that are just joining, don't mind my table. The puppy is playing and he won't leave. Both the dogs are sitting right next to me, deciding they want to have a biting fest. Thank you, Wayne. So, but yeah, that's what it feels like. So I would really kind of work on that. And I know, Blue, the hardest thing to do is to quit those cigarettes. And but I would invite you to try to find that space. What helped me is I honestly just lit a cigarette, just took a couple of drags and put it out. And I would, when I needed it, I would go back to that same cigarette, and it was disgusting and gross and horrible. And honestly, that's what helped me quit. But I really want you to take care of that space. I'm more concerned with that than they are telling me about your parents. That's all they keep dragging me to, is that anytime I look, they won't even have me look this way. So, yeah. And then community, if you could please send her some healing light and love to kind of help that space. So, all right, Patrick.
Well, I'm not a medical astrologer.
No. Go ahead.
No, but I will say Taurus, where the eclipses have been going, it rules the throat. Oh. And Taurus is it's a she, is it, or he?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, Blue Rose.
Blue Rose, I'm going to assume is a female.
Yeah, so I'll say she. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but yeah, so she has Taurus in the 8th house, which is normally ruled by Scorpio, and it's the house of sex and death and the occult, and it has to do with shared resources. So it could be a marriage, it could be a business partnership. But you have Taurus there, and so that is where this eclipse is happening, and where these eclipses have been happening for the last year or so. So you got some stuff going on there. You've got pretty much the same Neptune as our last contestant at 15 Scorpio. So this eclipse in Scorpio is right on your Neptune, which is in your 2nd house of resources. Neptune in Scorpio is very deep. But having to do with resources, it's kind of hard to say. But yeah, Taurus definitely does rule the throat. I mean, that is for sure. So, and
he was saying that she has the patches for smoking. She is a C. She said no sex or marriage, and that her parents are in the 80s.
okay, well, shared resources can be also inheritances or family money kind of stuff. Not that I'm, implying anything by that, but that is traditionally the eighth house does rule on inheritances as well. Any kind of shared resources. So, yeah, I think that's all I have on that one.
Very cool. Okay. Let's see. The next one is Mimi. So Mimi is in Savannah, Georgia. Or she was born in Savannah, Georgia. I was born in Fort Benning, Georgia. The Georgia Peaches. Okay, Mimi. So my singing bowls are not safe. So, Mimi, who would be the peaches indeed? Yes. So immediately what comes to the forefront is I want to say it's a young man. This person is not past. This person is alive. It's hard because, I want to say this person would be someone that you would consider younger than you. This might be somebody that you consider or is a son, or someone that you consider like a son, or someone that looks up to you. Does that make sense, Mimi? Do you have any boy children, young men children? The reason why is like this person comes up for the forefront, and it's like when people show up like this, it really is about just being concerned for that person. And this person might be going through a lot of stuff, but no kids, no younger male at this time. Okay, well let me think about that, because that's what it feels like, a younger male. Okay. Stop it, you two. Who? Oh, Suzanne, you can volunteer to babysit those guys. All right. So, Mimi, is there something else that you have questions about? Because this person's not leaving, so he may be with somebody else that is coming up pretty soon. So, is there anything that you want me to concentrate on or think about? I should never stare at the phone too long.
This is falling in her seventh house of relationships.
Go ahead.
I'm just backing up what you said. You're saying some person's going to show up, and the Scorpio half of the eclipse is falling into her seventh house of relationships. I mean, it doesn't have to be a sexual relationship, but it's showing something showing up there. Yeah. So I'm just corroborating what you said.
Yeah, I don't know. I really see this person coming into you. And currently this person is going through some stuff. I mean, I don't know who he is. He's not leaving. So, he won't step aside. Usually if it's not for this person, they step aside. And I'm like, okay, if it's not there, will you step aside? He's not stepping aside. So, yes, we got jokes in the room. Yeah, he's not stepping aside. So I would say this person might be coming into your life, and it doesn't have to be, like you said, it doesn't have to be a sexual relationship. It could be a friendship or a supportive relationship or something. And so I would say in the opportunities that you can be a role model to somebody, if you're in a space to do that, I would say go for it, because I think that it's really odd, because once they're showing me, like, once you start talking and then his ear gets really big, so that means that he really is going to listen to what you have to say. So in those moments, in that time, yeah, if you can be that role model, if you could be somebody, that would be awesome. So
Yeah, I mean, I would add that. So the other half of that eclipse is your first house. So that's all about you, and that's exactly what you're saying. So it's meeting someone who is going to bring something out of you, something different.
yeah,
So those two houses, the first and seventh house, work together that way. Um, that's all I would add.
very cool.
But what you're saying seems to be right on with the astrology as far as the eclipse goes. So.
I'm like, it's just really odd, because, like I said, for those of us that see it, spirit the way I do, it's like they speak in analogies. So sometimes you're carrying on a whole conversation with these guys, going, what do you mean younger guy? Do you mean a boy? Do you mean this? Do you mean that? And sometimes spirit shows up. I mean, I just see it as somebody younger than you. And I don't know how much younger than you. Could be 5 months, it could be, 18 years, but whatever it is, it really is, there. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one. And I believe the next one is Bonnie. And I'm like, Bonnie, is this my Bonnie? I just moved to Texas. So, hey, he did calm down, Suzanne. Thanks. So Kathy, what we are doing, just to let you know, we're doing kind of these mini reads and an astrology kind of thing. So if you can type in, we have a couple of more. I won't say we'll get to you for sure, but if you want to type in your date of birth, let's see, where you were born and the time you were born, Patrick is going to go ahead and give you a very micro read. And then I can answer that question for you. But we're going down the list of everybody. So, okay. So Bonnie, are you here, my friend? Because I really need to see. Oh, yep. Are you my Bonnie? The Bonnie that I know? Let's see. Okay. So I'm glad that, so this is the Bonnie that I know. And I'm going to do what's called Karen speak, and hopefully you can pick up what I'm saying. There have been some discussions, and we have talked about that, of separating or splitting off or doing this. Not that there was a real true splitting off. Do you understand what I'm talking about? But just that conversation, well, we could do it this way and this would be better. I don't think I've ever really kind of put my foot down and say, don't do that. But now I really would say, for some reason, let's not do that. It just doesn't, like you've always said, we don't need to go that way. We don't need to do that. And I would 100% agree with you there. So there's two things I want you to know. And so that's one of them. So let's not do that, because we don't need to do that. And I think everybody is more protected that way. So it really is, that other situation that you've been going, that's just exhausting. I don't know why they keep, or I don't know why they keep showing me the ocean. And so I don't know if you're thinking about going down there or what. I mean, they keep showing me the ocean. So I don't know what that is. Give me a moment while Patrick is talking and I'll look into that.
Well, these eclipses, Bonnie, are going to hit you. I should probably stop using the word hit. They're going to affect your fourth house, which is your home life, which is where the Scorpio is, or your career life, which is where Taurus is. So those are the two main houses. You know, and again, those houses also can refer to your parents as well. And there's argument about that. 10th house mother, 4th house father, but some people think they're reversed. So that's all I have on that so far. And they are square. You have Saturn in the 7th house of relationships, so that you know, if you're feeling some an area where you're working extra hard, where things aren't moving, that would be the area, and it. But you're having a lot stirred up either at home or work or both, or maybe in relationship to your parents. As far as next week's eclipse is going, I see that you got hit really hard about when the pandemic started. I mean, like exactly, January 10th, Pluto at 22. That was your your Pluto trine. That's one of the big life transits. Pluto trine your native Pluto, and now Pluto's coming to trine your natal Uranus in your 3rd house. So that could be to do with communication or your thought process. 3rd house is also siblings, close friends.
Could it be
like that.
Could it be like children, grandchildren?
Third house, generally not. But I mean, the 4th house where the eclipse is happening, I mean, would be anything to do with your home. So that would include children, certainly. Yeah. I just kind of got in. I just saw those Pluto transits and I couldn't help talking about them. Yeah. But yeah, 4th house, certainly. That anything to do with your home, moving home. Yeah. Is that what you're picking up?
I know Bonnie and I, I do readings for Bonnie. So there are certain things that I know about her. And I would say that she hasn't answered, but I would kind of agree that in 2020, things started getting a little weird. And, I'm hoping Bonnie actually texts, but yeah, things were hard for her. And, there is a lot of change, and then she's been going through a lot of stuff. She just recently moved. I mean, and she said, yes, it did. So you're actually pretty spot on with the things that, what I feel. And so the whole time, some of the time that Patrick was talking, I was actually talking to them in my head because I've never seen the sign of just the ocean and it's just calm. And I think at some point, and I don't know, Patrick, but I think what this means, like I said, please pardon me because I wasn't paying attention because I was trying to figure out what this whole ocean and it's just being flat and still. And it seemed like there's a calmness that some of this stuff is going to start calming down and it's going to start, it's like I don't have the waves hitting me anymore. I'm not splashing over my head. And would that be a pretty fair thing from what you're seeing on your end? Or no?
Well, I think as I said before, the part of the what's creating so much tension with this eclipse is the square to Saturn on both ends. It's square to the moon and it's square to the sun, and it's square Uranus. And so Saturn will be moving on, in the next few months. So, like it may be another part of the chart you're talking about. I mean, you're talking about an ocean. So I'm looking at, she's got quite a lot of planets in Pisces. So it's like looking at her planets in Pisces, thinking about the ocean.
Yeah, it's just, for me, what I saw was the ocean, and I just kept saying, so what's up with the ocean? And they just kept showing me it's just being flat. Mm-hmm. And then the minute then I put myself in the ocean thinking, okay, what is going on here? Let me just see. Hi, Gina. Let me just see. She said her husband is a Pisces. But when I put myself into the ocean, then all of a sudden the waters just got crazy. And I'm like trying to catch my breath, and I'm trying to, put my head above water so I can stop swallowing all this and getting choked out by the water. And then it just kind of calmed down. So to me, it's like, then when I took myself out, it was calm and still again. So I think that for me, I would have to say these things that have been a little bit over your head, that have been dragging you down or choking you out, or however you want to call it, I think they're going to start coming to an end. I think things are going to start shifting for you. So,
I mean, there are some, nice little aspects coming up, as these planets move out of Scorpio. And we just had, well, actually, here's the Pisces thing. So yeah, okay, maybe this is part of it. So Jupiter just moved back into Pisces. It was there earlier this year, and it moved into Aries, and now it's gone back into Pisces for about 6 weeks. So Pisces is, of course, the most oceanic sign, and I see that. Are we talking? This is Bonnie, right?
Yeah, Bonnie.
She's got her Chiron at 27 Pisces, and Chiron is known as the wounded healer. So it's just an area that's a very sensitive area on the chart. I'd have to know your chart better to really feel into it. But being Chiron in Pisces is maybe emotional wounds, or you couldn't express yourself emotionally, and it's in the 9th house, so it may have something to do with maybe a philosophy that was imposed on you that was not helpful. But Jupiter's going to be just about touching your Chiron there, and Jupiter's always good. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, especially you actually, and my Chiron is here too, so I'm kind of excited. I've got the same transit coming because I'm born just a little later in 1968, but I would say that the Jupiter aspecting your Chiron in the next few weeks will feel like a little bit of healing, and then all these planets in Scorpio are going to be trining Jupiter as well. So they're going through some rough patches now, but then there'll be a nice trine. So yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying this, but I do think there's a little bit of healing coming up. Jupiter in Pisces is healing. It's can be inspirational. It's positive. So yeah.
This doesn't have to do anything with her reading. The reason why I smiled, because I remember when we were talking, I believe it was yesterday, and we were talking about how it hits certain people and the need. What is this phrase that I love? The need.
You talking about the urge to merge?
The urge to merge. I love that saying. The urge to merge.
Yeah, that is related to Neptune and Pisces, and so Bonnie has 3 planets in Pisces, and then her Neptune is in a water sign Scorpio, so it's very very deep. Neptune Scorpio is very very deep, and yeah, so Neptune, this eclipse isn't hitting your Neptune directly, but it is in the same sign and house as your Neptune, and so yeah, the urge to merge, it can be psychological, it can be spiritual. Neptune represents that sense of oneness we had with our mom in the womb, or spiritually it can it relates to our connection to source. So Pisces and Neptune it's the 12th house. It's like after you've done all your lessons, you get to Pisces and Neptune, and that's you're you merge. hopefully hopefully there's a little bit of feeling of oneness with the universe. So yeah, you've got all these planets in Pisces, and yeah, I think with Jupiter in there, I think that'll be nice because you've got Mars in there too. So Jupiter's going to help.
Cool.
But yeah, I'd say she has a very deep urge to merge, very deep feeling of ancestral roots with Neptune and Scorpio in the 4th house. I don't know if she's aware of it or not, but just, yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, we're going to move on. The next one is Jen T. Jen T. Weymouth, Massachusetts. I'm sure that's really close to me, but I don't know my way around Massachusetts that good. So no problem, Bonnie. And guys, like I just put his email up there a little bit ago, and please reach out. I mean, it's amazing what he came up on my chart. It was really, and I just literally, I'm like, I have to have you on my channel. I just need to have you come on my channel. And
yeah, this is definitely challenging on the fly. I mean, I'm having some fun, but I usually take a lot of time with people's charts. So if something's a little off,
yeah, something's a little bit off. Don't get them on that one.
I'm not a wizard. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. Okay, so and Jen is really kind of curious about like what's coming. It's been a tough year. And Jen, one of the things that Patrick told me is like, because of, and if I'm wrong, correct me, Patrick, but like for all of us, I mean, because of 2020 and all of this thing, it really has been kind of a tough year for a lot of people, go ahead.
Yeah, well, this Saturn, 2020 was one thing, and then 2021 was the Saturn-Uranus square that is just about finishing up with these eclipses are like the finale, and I think people can feel kind of closed in, and trapped. Now it doesn't have to be that way, but that is one way it can work. It can be very productive too, but I've gone back and forth with it. I know where each one has been hitting me in my chart, and I know that I've been feel like I'm working really hard where Saturn is, and it's just small progress, and where Uranus is, it's been better, but you go ahead. Let me take a look at this.
Well, something I want to mention, it's like, well, I'll do it late. Well, no, I have to mention that now. Something that you said for me personally was, stepping more into my spirituality of this year all the way to 2024. And, it's just been very odd that, because I just sit, lately, those of you that know my life's been a little crazy right now. And it was just really funny because I have noticed, like, all of the sudden people are literally stepping into my life, and very spiritual people. I mean, I was sitting in the back with one of my friends, and next thing you know, someone else came out and started talking to us, and she's a younger lady, and she starts talking to us about spirituality, and I'm thinking, wow, this is just crazy. So it's like people are coming out of the woodwork for me. And that was really, I just want to say that was very impressive to me, that here I wasn't trying to do it, and you had literally said this is probably going to start happening. I kind of blew it off, but then the other day it was like, holy crap, and then there was someone else when I went to go get my glasses. Somebody noticed my tattoo and immediately is like, oh, chakras. It wasn't, everybody assumes, I'm, oh my gosh, I got the rainbow, so I must be a lesbian, but it was like chakras. I mean, this person literally knew, and I'm like, yes. And, so that was very cool to have that happen. But I just want to say that, you were spot on with that. I just couldn't believe it was just like, holy crap. And I hadn't thought about it until like afterwards. And then I thought, when I was processing just everything that's been going on lately, it was like, oh, wait a second, this really is happening. And I'm not manifesting it. I'm not forcing it. It's just coming on its own, which has been very, very cool. So anyways, I just wanted to say that. So I know, Gina, I don't have my glasses on. I'll put them on. I'll take them off. I'll put them on. You know me. It's just the way it is. Okay. And Suzanne is like, Weymouth is northeast of you, Karen, just south of Boston. See, that's why I have you, Suzanne. Okay. So Jen, you want me to go first, Patrick, or you want to
go? If you got something, go ahead.
So let's see. There was something, 3 months reading, been a tough year. It really, really has been a tough year. And for me, what I really see is, there's a lot of change. Well, let me back this up. So it is very important for you to really imagine what this change looks like. It's very odd because they're giving me old pictures that I haven't seen in a while. It's almost like, so when I see Taco Bell, it's the oddest thing because, my guides are pretty funny. When I see Taco Bell is my sign for, you wouldn't go up to the drive, the drive through and go, give me whatever you think I need. And sometimes we tend to do that in the spiritual sense. Give me what you think what'll be best. And right now, what they really want you to do is, you're typing something. I've cut family ties. It was sad, but I'm okay with it. Trying to grow spiritually, that is super important to me. And I'm done with trying to take care of everyone but my kids. And this is what it is because here's the problem that we have. And that makes what I'm hearing and seeing is that be careful that you're not manifesting by default. And what I mean by that is all too often we get caught up in all the negative aspects of the things that are going on in our lives. And it's best when I explain it in a relationship type deal, because you can catch it like that. It's literally like going, I don't want a man who drinks. I don't want a man who's an alcoholic. I don't want a man who beats my ass. I don't want a man, because that is so natural to us. But spirit, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, doesn't know words. It only knows energy. So you're literally going alcoholic, drug addict, abuser. And so spirit's going to give you exactly what you're putting forth. So in all aspects of it, it's like, please be careful on how you manifest. Please be careful that you are not putting all these negative, because you don't really realize that, they keep going abracadabra, abracadabra. And abracadabra is, you really are powerful. Words are very powerful. Words are very powerful spells. And so be careful. Always preface your things with the positive. I want someone who's responsible with alcohol. I want someone who's healed enough to love me the way that I need to be loved. I want someone who can be my partner. I want someone who makes, me happy. I want someone who is healthy. All of those things. So it really is for you. It's like, and it goes further than that, because you have to manifest. Like, instead of, they literally have me looking at your kids, and it's like, I don't want someone who does this. Stop doing that. Go and say, I want someone who's going to be a positive person. And I'm just using relationship. Okay. I'm not saying you need to go that route, but I'm just using it because that's where we do it the most. It's like almost like going over there and saying, oh, kids, we don't have enough money for this. Don't say that. Just say, we can't get it right now. We can't get it right now. And start really really looking, imagine, and feeling how good it would feel to not have, or to have whatever it is you want. Okay. Manifesting is just really big right now. They really want to talk about manifesting with you. So, okay. There you go. No, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of drawn to other things in this chart of Jen's. You've got, I don't know if you've had your chart read before, but you have you have 5 planets in the 8th house. So that's like the house that we're talking about. It's related to Scorpio issues, and 2 of them are in Virgo, and 3 are in Libra. But you got Mars, Sun, Mercury, Pluto, and Uranus all in the 8th house. So this is a really big house for you, and that's just a lot of scorpionic energy. So I can see how that kind of energy could be very attractive, and it's something that I'm wondering if it's been difficult to get a handle on it in yourself, because it's very powerful and it's very intense, and yeah. So as far as the eclipse is going, it's not really hitting those planets directly. It's going to be in your 3rd house, which is communication, to do with mind and communication, and possibly siblings, friends, and your 9th house, which has to do with philosophy. It can also relate to courts and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know if either of those houses mean anything to you. You have. Well, I'll tell you what's really sticking out is so Pluto is in your 12th house right now, so that is quite intense, and it's just gone over your North Node, and actually Saturn just came through your 12th house as well. So the 12th house is kind of a bad rap, it's. Back in the day, it was like the house of enemies, or exile. It's related to prisons or stuff like that. Now, we don't read it literally. It can mean those things. We don't really read it literally like that. It can also be a very, very spiritual house. So, when you have your North Node in the 12th house, what it tells me is that the area of spirituality is really where you need to be headed in your life, and some Pluto is there right now, so it's working a lot of the transformation in that house. But it may be under the surface. The thing with the 12th house is sometimes we can't see it. we can kind of feel it working. So it may be a time to go kind of deep with that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm seeing. I don't know.
I
What
always
else?
say, I always say, Jen, that sometimes, this is very typical of, um, you know, in our community, we call it leveling up, and so it's the growing pains. It's they literally show this. Oh, they just gave me chills. Literally the cutting of the strings. You know, these growing pains can be really good, although hurt, and although sorting through all of that and putting past pains, because when Patrick was talking, I really was seeing just going through that childhood trauma and those childhood things and passing and sorting through all of that. But this really is a really intense time for you, and you need to take the time to heal and take care of yourself. It's really, really important. Kathy, I did put you on the list already. But that's really, really important for you to just process, because the quicker that you can process through and let all of these things get out of you that you don't need anymore, then you get to level up, and you spiritually speaking, you get to evolve a little bit more. It's time that we stop carrying the things that don't belong to us. And so, yeah, I it's hard, but just keep plugging away at it. Okay. So
Yeah, I'd say the 12th house is definitely taking time for yourself.
yeah.
Is big. With Pluto in your 12th house, that's very big. I think that's right on with the astrology.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Suzanne Rich. Okay, so what we have here, and like I said, we're going to try to get to everybody, no guarantees. So we have Suzanne and Prince Charming's mom, Kathy, Chris, and Silver Star. And then I think we should we'll try to get to you guys, because it does take a lot out. But yeah, so Suzanne, ooh, girlfriend. Um, are you guys planning on are you guys planning on sitting at home? Like, what's the deal there? Because um, Jen T said they do. Family things seems a theme in my life, trying to get back on track spirituality. So for Suzanne, it really is about, and I think I've told you that, I think I've said this before, about really manifesting you and Wayne manifesting, because Wayne's her partner. You and Wayne manifesting how you envision you guys' life to be. It's really weird because I don't really see you sitting still. Like, I just can't see you sitting there. They don't let you sit down on a rocking chair and put your legs up or do any of that. It's like you might do that for about 10, 15 minutes. And then it's like, oh, I got to get up and move. I cannot do this. So it's really funny. Oh, that makes sense. You've been sick for the past few weeks. Yeah. Oh, I don't know what it is about, I don't know what it is about. You might want to incorporate some clove oil, and oregano oil. You might want to incorporate that into your diet if you guys can do that. Um, but I just can't see you guys sitting still. I just can't. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. You guys would keep doing and keep moving and keep trekking, and yeah. So, okay. What you got over there?
Yeah, the eclipses are happening in the 5th and the 11th house for Suzanne. And the 5th house can be kids, it can be sexuality, it's self-expression, it's related to Leo. So it could be creativity. I don't know if you have a creative thing. And then the 11th house is friends and groups. These are like the two probably most positive, joyful houses. The 5th house is ruled by Venus. The 11th house is ruled by Jupiter. And I think 5th house is the house of joy. The 11th house is the house of good feeling. So, yeah, it could be really good. It could be something coming up with kids or with friends or groups that you're part of.
Well, and she's really looking forward to her retirement. That's been something that they've been really kind of concerned with, is just making sure that the ends meet, that she's, so that's been a big issue with her, is really kind of getting ready for that retirement.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. You do have, in terms of the 2nd 8th house axis, Saturn has been in that 8th house, which is other people's money, so that could refer to retirement, and it is on its way out. So, literally, within a couple of degrees. So that would explain why you've been feeling that tightness around there. And according to this, it may kind of start to ease up.
She said things have been on hold since her hysterectomy. Creativity is on hold too, so she hasn't had very much energy to do very much. Okay. And that'll pick up. It'll pick up. I'm gonna feed the dog really quick, but please keep talking.
Yeah. That last eclipse, we all have the south node and the north node in our charts, and your north node is in your 5th house, so it sounds like you are creative. And the eclipse on the 25th hit that axis like right on. So hopefully that might stir something up there. Trying to see. Like I said, the eclipse on the 25th was a lot gentler than this one coming up. Yeah, and you've got Jupiter on your north node, so in the 5th house. So and Neptune. That's about Jupiter, north node, and Neptune all within a few degrees. So I'd be curious to see your art. I think it could be powerful. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, guys. All right.
Wow, a lot of comments.
I haven't really been looking at them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard without getting, being able to talk to people.
It is. It's hard to keep.
If she commented at all.
Yeah, she did. In fact, she was saying she's been taking it easy with sewing and quilting and writing, embroidery. Okay. Wayne, which is her partner, he was like, yeah, that's me. I got to keep moving. And then he put a bunch of cruise ships on there. So I would imagine they're planning on later on, just kind of cruising and traveling around and doing that.
Yeah. What's her? Yeah, I mean, Jupiter is in your 9th house of travel right now, so you might want to just run out the door and go for it. Is it? Oh, wait, no. It was in your 9th house. I'm sorry. it's in your 10th house now. So yeah, but I mean that doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to travel. But yeah, I saw that right. Okay, well, I don't know.
All right, Suzanne. Let's see. Next is Prince Charming's mom. Prince Charming's mom is next. Message from spirit. I love you too, Prince Charming's mom. So it's funny you get two. So I do not know why they're literally showing me the dog. And all the dog is doing is sitting there looking at and just looking at the top of the steps. You know, does your dog, Prince Charming's mom, does your dog look up at the steps? Is there something that he keeps looking at? Because they just show me, it's like they show me a staircase and there's nothing there. Like I look up and there's nothing there. Like I'm looking at the dog going, what are you looking at? And there's nothing there. But then they put me in the dog's perspective, in the dog's vision. And I literally see a girl with like an old time kind of thing. Is this making sense to you, Prince Charming's mom, if you're still here? Because it's like, I think the dog is definitely seeing things inside the house. So if the dog's barking or acting kind of goofy, that would be why. You know, I literally see him doing that. Like I'm looking at something, I'm doing this. Yes, he looks up all the time. Literally, he's just literally going like this, and he just keeps staring up. And just know that. And this spirit isn't going to do anything. You know, there's nothing that you have to worry about. But he's just acknowledging that these guys are up there and they're visiting and they're fine. And for you, it's about being really gentle with yourself. And, you know, automatically they bring me to your heart. She's like, he barks at things that nobody sees. So for you, they bring me to your heart. And, you know, whatever the heaviness in your heart is, and this may be a time for you to, you know, we always call it earth magic, you know, about releasing things, whether that's writing it down, you know, and just kind of digging a hole and putting this piece of paper in the ground and saying, I'm giving this back to you. It's like, I really feel that there's going to be some stuff that you're going to have to work through, some whatever. And it automatically goes to childhood stuff, but it could be like teenager stuff. It could be like young adult stuff. It could be old trauma, because spirit always shows me like onions. Like maybe 15 years ago, you weren't able to deal with this, but you're able to deal with it now. You know, you're able to figure it out and you're able to process it in such a different and better space. So whatever that is, whatever that pain or whatever this heaviness in your heart is, it's like there is some processing that needs to happen and to release it, because you don't have to hold on to this. And you can look at what lesson did it bring you? What lesson did it, you know, find a way to just process through those emotions that are kind of heavy and weighing your heart down. Okay. That's the main thing. Does that make sense to you, Prince Charming's mom? You can go ahead, Patrick, if you want.
Okay. Well, one nice thing is you have Jupiter pretty close to where the eclipse is going to happen in your ninth house. That ninth house can be travel, but it can be about faith, especially with Jupiter there, your faith, personal philosophy. So I think, whatever this stirs up, it is great, always great to have a benefic, the greater benefic, which is Jupiter, in the mix. So that's one thing I will say. And then the third house, again, it seems like we have a lot of the same houses coming up, but it could be siblings, close friends, communication. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say without knowing a little more, but so,
Very cool.
yeah, nothing else is really
Jumping out at you. Okay, awesome. She did say that, of course, I read that one, that he barks at things. She said it totally makes sense, what was being said. So that's good. Awesome. Okay. Hopefully that helps Prince Charming's mom. And then Kathy Ramirez, if you are still here, if you want to put your date of birth in, but I will go ahead. Actually, I'll just go ahead because you didn't put it in, and I tried to go back and it wasn't there. So I'll give you this much. Whatever is coming this week, what I got is when I really pictured out coming up this week, I would say don't have any preconceived notions about how it's going to be. Here I am in my own mind figuring it out and trying to put it together, and this is how all it's going to work, and the puzzle pieces, I'm putting them all together. But then it's really weird because even though the puzzle pieces fit, it didn't really make a picture, if that makes any sense. So don't try to plan it all out, because I think that in that, it's like, just let it flow. And they keep giving me, don't swim upriver. Just let things flow the way it needs to. And don't try to, it's like, I want this so bad, so I want to make this happen, whatever this is. And I'm not really realizing that when you start putting your hand in the pot, that's when it starts messing up. Is this making any sense to you if you're there? So what I would say is be gentle with yourself this week. And, she just put her date of birth in. Her date of birth is March 4th. Let me tag that so that you have it. Okay, so it'll be at the bottom of the starred list. March 1st, 1965 at 9:58. Yeah, it's like, just be really gentle with yourself, because, I just, all they keep showing me is, I just really want this, and I really want to latch onto this, and I'm like reaching for it, and I'm trying so hard to grab it, but that is not, maybe family secrets. I mean, it's just, I just think that they want you just to be very careful about, just having preconceived notions of how it's supposed to go, or how it's supposed to work, or what the picture is supposed to look like. Or it's like, just kind of, just be relaxed in it, and just let it flow the way it needs to. It's so weird because your guides talk, it's like, don't go in like a wrecking ball, whatever that is supposed to mean. It's like, you want to find this so bad, but don't break the house down. Um, that's what they keep saying is don't break the house down just to get whatever you want that your needs to get met, if that makes any sense to you. So, okay, that's all they have for you for me.
Okay. I just threw this up, so give me one sec.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, it's your first house and your seventh house, and you're another one of these Neptune and Scorpio people. It's fairly close to that. So Taurus in your seventh house with Uranus there, maybe something unexpected or someone new or coming in, or some changes with someone there, and you have Jupiter there. It's pretty close to your Jupiter, so I would say whatever change is happening in terms of a relationship, either someone currently or someone coming in with Jupiter involved, that it's probably going to be pretty good. And then the other side is, your first house. So your ascendant is in Scorpio, and with Neptune there, it's very deep. I have to say you're also probably a bit of a rebel, I would guess, because you were born with the Pluto Uranus conjunction that defined the 60s. And I have that in my chart. I was born a little later, but I would guess you're a bit of a rebel. So there may be, something about your self-concept too that is changing here, and it may be, related to a relationship there. That's all I got. Where's Saturn?
Is that true, Kathy? You're somewhat of a rebel.
She's got Mars there too, so I wouldn't be surprised if she was part of a motorcycle gang. It's in the 11th house with Mars in there. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and Saturn, which is squaring these two, is in your 4th house.
She just smiled. She's
something something with the home. Either your literal home or your family, maybe feeling like that there's a lot of work going on there. But yeah, I don't know. I like the 7th house with the Jupiter. I don't know who it's going to be, or if it's someone in your life that maybe just there's some kind of change, or maybe you start to see them differently too, because your self-concept is going to be changing. So if your self-concept changes, then you're going to see other people differently too. I'm just spitballing here.
No, you're absolutely right. I think when you change yourself and you look at, for some people, their self-worth and their belief system, you can't help but change the outer portion too.
And as we get to the end here, like, I just want to reiterate, the process here may not be smooth, with the South Node in Scorpio. It's about a death and a rebirth and letting go. And Scorpio is related to the hips, so it's not only the sexual organs, but it's the eliminative organs. So it's not just about physical digestion, but it's about how we digest and process energy and emotions. And that's why I love that exercise that Karen gave me as well, of bearing, writing something down and burying it in the ground. I like, you didn't know that at the time, but that is very fitting for Scorpio season and these Scorpio themes, you know, because that's what Scorpio is about. It's about going deep into the earth, and things are going to come maybe out of the deep, but we want to, whatever we don't need, we want to let it go back into the deep, you know, and so it is a process. It may feel messy. It may feel like you're going backwards, but that's, you know, that's how Scorpio is. But I think the gains are can be quite large, you know, when we let go of that stuff. So I just wanted to kind of, that's like kind of for everybody.
Yeah. That's a pretty powerful releasing, especially to imagine that emotion or that pain or that thing as you're writing it down on a piece of paper and releasing that through, you know, through your heart, through your arm, through the pen, onto the paper, you know, this visualization of just releasing all of that negative stuff and giving it back. And I think all too often we get caught up in negative and positive and good and bad, and it's just energy. You know, what someone's trauma could be for someone else isn't traumatic for someone else. And so, you know, it's about just giving that up. So yeah. Awesome.
Who's
Okay.
next?
Next is Chris MK. So it looks like February 21st, 1945, Tucson, Arizona. Chris MK. So, Chris, I'm kind of struggling with this one, so you're going to have to help me out here. So at first I saw boxes, and then I saw sorting boxes, and then I looked, and then I saw moving boxes, and then I literally saw you sitting on top of the moving boxes. So are you contemplating movement? Are you contemplating like, and it could be not just a real true move, but an actual thinking about, you know, shifting, because the sorting of the boxes is like, where do I want to put this? Where do I want to do this? Is Chris still here? If you're here, please say something so we know that you're still here. But it's, well, like,
yeah.
Huh?
He's got Uranus in his fourth house, and the most obvious interpretation of that is he's going to be moving. So that fits.
Yeah, they're here. So yeah, it's like, you know, I just see a lot of movement, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the literal sense of picking up and moving. I'm going to move houses, but there is so much just sorting through and figuring out what you don't want, what you do want, and just moving this thing kind of around. So yeah. So yeah, that's my thing, is just kind of sorting through. There's just, that's all they just keep saying, is there's a lot of different movement happening, you know, for this person. So yeah, he or she, I don't know, is here. Let me see. Someone's asking me something. So if you want to go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, again, you know, we have a 4th, 10th house axis. So, like you said, but yeah, it doesn't have to literally be your moving house. But I think that sorting through and what do I want and what do I don't want, that's very Scorpio kind of thing. I would say that this particular eclipse is hitting your nodes in a nice way. It's trine and sextile your south and north nodes, and actually your nodes are right on your ascendant descendant axis. So it's hitting quite a bit. So there could be a lot of change. Your north node is in Cancer, which can signify home. But yeah, it's hitting quite a lot. So it's kind of hard to say without talking to you, or when it's going to be. Yeah, like I said, it's hitting your node destiny, so to speak, in a more easeful way. So not tension as far as that goes. I think it'll be whatever you're moving toward right now. It'll be more easeful. Again, I mean, just looking at a couple of points in your chart, so.
Yeah, it does. The move does feel better. Like it almost feels like as soon as I get this rearranged, and then I can figure out where I can go from here. And then some of it really, so there are several stages or several processes that you have to go through, but hopefully that helps, Chris. Just kind of take it easy and sort through and figure it out, and just know that a lot of changes on your way. So manifest the good things that you might have. So, okay. Last but not least, Chris. Oh, nope. Silver Star Priestess. So Silver Star Priestess, are you still here? And she says it's been a rough few weeks. If you could say something, Silver Star Priestess, and that way we know you're here. Yep, she's here. Okay, and this is going to be the last one because I am spent. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure. It's very odd. So I don't know if you have, it is a great name, huh, Sandra? I don't know if you have some new guides coming in. I want to say they're guides because I see you standing there. You standing there. Well, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give it to you. And they're saying, give it to you and you decide how you want to interpret this. It's like you standing there and all of a sudden you have someone in your ear. Now, sometimes you'll listen to this person and sometimes you're not even like, ooh, don't even know he's there. I don't know if this is a new guide or if this is you processing through, because honestly, this time, like we talked about at the beginning, for some of us, this time is really about healing some things. So I don't know if this is your guides or if this is you, because this person who is talking to you goes, in 1 minute, I can see them in full form. And the next minute I see them almost like an apparition. And they go back in full form and they go back into an apparition. And, if I had to personally look at it and see, what I would say is that maybe you're dealing with somebody else's truth about you, if that makes sense. So it's and so when I look over here and I stay focused away from what was going on in my ear a minute ago, I'm literally being told, it's almost like you were being, just imagine a child that gets told that they're stupid all the time. And then they have to process through that, believing, and they're popping this thing into my head. And it says something like, if you ask a fish to climb a tree, it'll believe its whole life it's, you know, it's not worthy or something like that, or it'll grow up its whole life thinking it's stupid. Um, you know, so just keep in mind that either, you know, there is a lot of processing that you're going to be going through. This is going to be old stuff of people's opinions about you do not define the woman that you are today. There is a lot also of you having to step up and grab um, your femininity power. I guess you could, that's not a way to say, they're like, that's not how we said it. But they should speak clearer then. So, you know, the masculine and the feminine, it's like now is the time for you to step up your feminine, this feminine queen that those of us, and when I said feminine, don't think that I'm just talking to the females. I mean, even the men that are more feminine, it really is time to step that up and to step in that strength of the feminine um, person. So there's some work there that needs to get done, some clearing. And you know what? It's like, and this ties into past life stuff too. So just keep that in mind. You're typing and I don't know what you're saying, but let me look. She said that she was thinking new guides, been feeling something wonderful, and it was my higher self. Yep. Been hearing trauma from through my whole life. It's definitely a process. Yep. She says, exactly. Been working on my magnetism. Yep. Feminine moon. Yep. Work. Yep. Okay, good. So do all, you know, but we really want to do a meditation, and you guys, anybody that needs this can do this. It's almost like if you were to imagine steps going into your brain, and there's a door, and you have to kind of look around for this key, and once you find the key, you open that door. Imagine if that door, that you know, your brain was a room, and you sit there and you look, and somewhere around you find a light switch, and the light switch doesn't have to be a light switch. It could be like, oh, all of a sudden the light appears. It could be a little flame. It could be whatever you want. There is no right or wrong. And it's about looking at all of these boxes and all of these things that people have told you throughout your whole entire life, and about cleaning them out, and about cleaning them out, getting out everything that you don't need. And along with that, you know, like I said, writing of the paper, it's kind of like that. But yours is about past memories, about things. And it's like picking up these boxes and going, this box isn't me anymore. This box is someone else that somebody gave to me and said, here, this is religion, or here, this is your belief system, or here, this is like for some of us older people, well, here, this is the belief system that you're not supposed to call a boy. You know, you're not supposed to do this as a female. And it really is kind of wiping that stuff away. And so I'll invite you to do that, and anybody else that needs it. It's like clean that up, clean that room in your head up, dust it, sweep it, do whatever you feel is necessary. Set up a space in this mental room of yours. What would your meditation room be like? What would create a safe space in that environment to sit and meditate and do anything that you need to do in that space? And so that can be your own kind of spiritual space that you need. So, all right, there you go. That's it. I'm like, that's it. What do you got over there, Patrick?
Okay. I mean, this chart is so interesting. I would love to read this chart for real.
For real.
You know, take some time with it. But yeah, again, you know, 2020 was a big shift for you. It looks like the Pluto square is one of the top 3 or 4 lifetime transits. And so, yeah, Pluto is in your 9th house. So, you know, possibly had a real shift of philosophy. But that was big. You know, when you're talking about femininity, Karen, I see her Venus is in the 12th house, and actually her Sun and Mars are in the 12th house. So when something's in your 12th house, it can be hidden to you.
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that you have to dig for, and also when something, especially Venus, is right next to the sun, it's called Cazimi, or being combust, and basically the light of the sun blocks out Venus. When you were born, Venus was in the process of going. I'm not sure, either going from a morning star to an evening star, or an evening star to a morning star. But Venus was in that time where she was invisible in the sky. She was up there, but she was so close to the sun, which is more of a male archetype, that you couldn't see her. And then all this is in your 12th house again. So there's this, I thought it gelled well with what Karen was picking up, as far as the
Very
digging
cool.
through feminine power. And this, I will say also this, and so you said it's been a hard couple of weeks. So that last eclipse was again in your 12th house. So the 12th house is just always going to be very intense, and it's going to be like stuff where you don't know where it even came from, and it just kind of hits because you can't see it coming. But this next one is going to be right on your ascendant, and I see you have a Taurus ascendant with Chiron there, so it suggests that there is some kind of wound or sensitivity with your ability to really be very grounded and just kind of stand your ground, because that's what Tauruses do, right? I mean, you might call them stubborn, but Taurus is fixed earth, and they're like a Zen master. They just sit there and they witness, and in true Taurus fashion, and but there's been something maybe that's been keeping you from really just resting in that fixed earth. And remember, Venus rules Taurus, so going back again to the feminine thing, that's tied in there. So you could have a real shift, with this Tuesday eclipse on how you carry yourself, and like standing in your power. I mean, that's what I see. And of course, whatever you shift on your ascendant shifts your descendant. So who you attract, or how you see people. But this one's really hitting a very significant point in your chart. That is for sure.
Very cool. Very cool. Her comments were, which I always love reading someone's comments as someone else is talking, and it's really great. So she said, "I believe so." I was thinking, well, we went through the guides thing. That's right. And she said, yes, exactly. As a projector, I have to find what really resonates, clean the mental clutter up. She said, this is so true. I've had to dig deep. Yes, out of nowhere, it kicked my butt. One of the issues this week, I had to stand my ground and speak how I feel in a way that'll be heard. And that's a really, really, really tough space to be in, Silver. And I would invite you to, if you don't know about stones, which I feel like you do, Preonite would be a really good one. And Preonite is a heal the healer stone. And also the black obsidian, because that'll send stuff back to other people that it needs to go back. So that would be some stones that you could work with doing this, whatever you're going to do, because I feel like you're just going to really clean house, which is going to be awesome. So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Please do not forget to give a thumbs up, and please leave after this is aired, please leave a comment in the comment section. Okay, just say hi. You know, anything you want to say. And there are people that keep asking me how Joe is doing. And during tonight, just now, we got word that he has finally been approved to get on the list for a heart. So that's exciting news. So, but anyways, thank you so much. Be gentle with yourselves during this time. Lots of love to you guys. And don't forget to email Patrick. It's right up here, right there. And
That's all.
so, all right. Bye, guys.
Bye.